Why did I get a man served in front of my office lobby because I thought public jokes were harmless? How did a toast with my ex turn into legal papers in my hand while strangers watched? Can a husband stay gentle and still win without shouting? Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible stories. I'm Ianthe Vale, and I will tell you how a party joke blew up my home. People said I was cruel. I said I was honest. I told friends my husband feared fun. He asked why I needed an audience. I said I was only flirting with my ex Marco. He said the video looked different. I said he was overreacting again. Everyone laughed with me. Later, they stared. My sister told me to live a little. His mother asked for calm. He stopped arguing, which felt like victory. He kept notes, which I ignored. I thought attention meant safety. I got home late and said traffic was slow, even though my hair still smelled like rooftop smoke. Evan stood at the sink and asked how the meetup went. I said it was casual and easy. He asked if Marco would be at Cassie's party this weekend. I said yes and added that we were all adults. He asked if I could keep things calm for Noah's sake. I said he was trying to control me again. He went quiet and wiped the counter, which annoyed me more than words. I tossed my tote on a chair and said I needed fun after a long week. He said he did not mind fun. He minded public jokes about our home. I laughed and asked why he always made everything heavy. He asked if I understood how the video from last month looked. I said people loved it. It was only banter. He said Noah had asked about it. I rolled my eyes and said kids forget fast. I sent Mina a quick text and said Evan was sulking. She replied that I should live a little. I typed that I planned to wear the red dress to the party. She reacted with fire emojis. Evan asked if I wanted tea. I said I would make my own. We used separate mugs set on opposite ends of the counter, like two small flags. Noah called from his room and asked if I could see his drawing. I told him in a bright voice that I loved it already. Evan brought the paper to the fridge and said Noah wanted it on display. I said it was cute. Evan looked at me like he was waiting for something kinder, then stopped. My phone buzzed with a message from Marco. I minimized the thread when Evan walked by. He asked if he should pick up Noah from Mina's on party night. I said Mina had it covered. He asked if I could set some limits with Marco so the jokes did not land on our home again. I said the problem was his insecurity, not my humor. He said he never agreed to be the punchline. I said he was being dramatic. He rinsed his cup and dried it carefully. The room felt too neat, like a hotel. On the side table, his phone lit with a small calendar alert that read, Downtown 2:10 p.m. I asked what it was. He said it was nothing and flipped the phone face down. I said we were allowed privacy. He said he agreed. I went to the balcony for air and sent Marco a wink. He wrote that he would save me a dance. I returned to the kitchen and told Evan that partners should not police each other. He said respect was not police. I said respect was letting me breathe. He nodded and put Noah's lunchbox by the door for morning. I washed my mug and told myself I was right. He set a folded dish towel in a perfect square. The quiet felt like a test I had already passed. Then his screen, lit again with a silent call marked private, and the soft door latch clicked as he stepped outside. Morning light hit the co-working lobby like a stage, and I treated it that way. I walked in with a high ponytail and a smile. Cassie waved from the cafe line and said the photo from last night looked great. I said it was fun and harmless. She said Marco had commented with a flame. I said he was just being friendly. A front desk associate glanced at me, then glanced away. I felt bigger than the room and decided that meant I was safe. Kellen stepped from behind the glass doors and asked for a quick word. I said I had tenants waiting, but could spare a minute. He led me into the small HR room with the fishbowl walls. He said some clients followed our lobby feed and had seen the tag. I said everyone posted things. He said my comment about being married but not dead was not wise under the company banner. I laughed and said it was a joke. He said jokes could still be a problem when they touched home life. I said my home was fine and my husband was just sensitive. My phone buzzed on the table with new hearts and laughing faces on the post. I showed him the reactions. He said reactions did not equal professionalism. I said the building wanted young energy. He said the building wanted quiet tenants. We looked at each other through our reflections, and I felt annoyed that he would not admire me. Back at the front desk, I opened my laptop and posed to fix my hair in the black screen. The cloud icon spun and flashed a little line about a file upload. I opened the home folder and saw two neat trees named Archive A and Archive B, both clean, both organized with date stamps. I frowned because I do not name things like that. The sync said file uploaded successfully, and then it finished. I minimized the window as a tenant stepped up. Evan sent a text asking if he could get Noah early because of a project. I typed that he should stop managing me at work. He replied with a simple, "Okay," and left it at that. The absence of a fight irritated me more than a fight would have. Cassie sent a group chat poll that split my friends into Team Marco or Team Evan. I hit the heart on Team Marco and put my phone face down. A coworker from the third floor came by for mail and looked at my screen like it might burn her. Kellen passed again and asked if we could keep the lobby calm for the next tenant tour. I said of course and smiled too hard. He did not smile back. Ruth messaged and asked if Noah could have a quiet evening this week. I ignored it and sent Mina a selfie of my lipstick. She replied with 3 fire emojis and said the red dress would kill at the party. I walked to the lobby mirror, pressed my shoulders back, and told myself I was writing my own story. Behind me, a man from security adjusted a sign and did not meet my eyes. The elevator doors slid open, and 2 clients stepped out speaking softly about office culture. I heard the phrase, "not a good look," and pretended it was about someone else. A calendar ping landed from Kellen, asking for a follow-up. At the same second, another alert slid under it that read, "Meeting, personal." Both pulsed on my screen as the lobby printer spit a blank page, and I watched the notifications stack and wait. Night air felt warm on the rooftop bar, and I treated the rail like a stage. Marco slid beside me and said the dress owed him a dance. I said he could have one if he kept my drink full. Friends gathered and said we needed a real toast this time. I said they would get one if Evan ever arrived. He came through the door with a small nod and said he was late from work. I said we noticed. Cassie lifted her phone and said the light was perfect. I turned toward it like I was born ready. Evan greeted the host and said he would skip shots. I said he was always careful. Marco laughed and said some people liked rules. I said someone in my home loved them more than people. A few friends snorted and looked at Evan to see if he would defend himself. He only asked if Noah had eaten dinner with Mina. I said of course and waved a hand like it was boring. The music thumped, and I felt the crowd lean toward me. Marco started a small story about our old gym days and said I had the best energy. I said he never complained. A chant for a toast rose from the group. I held my glass high and said, "Grown-ups should choose passion over chores." Someone clapped. Evan kept his face calm and said he needed to be up early. I said alarms were his true love. Laughter pushed against us like heat. I told a gentle version of a private habit and said Evan once set a timer for kisses. In fun. Marco said a timer should be for planks, not love. The group howled and shook their heads. Evan thanked the host again and said he would head out soon. I said he hated staying late, unless it was for a schedule. Cassie circled behind us and said we should crowd in for the shot. Marco put an arm around my waist. I did not move it. Evan watched and said we could talk later. I said later was always never. He nodded once, like he felt tired down to his bones. We moved to the smoking patio where the air felt thinner. A cousin lifted her phone and said we were going live for the toast. I faced the tiny red light and said love needed spark. Marco angled closer and said I made him braver. Laughter rose again. Evan stood by the door and checked his jacket pocket. The faint smell of printer toner drifted as he adjusted something. I saw his hand close over a small USB with today's date written on the label. For a second, I wondered why he carried that here. Then the music spiked, and I let the question go. The group shouted for one more line. I said some men plan affection like maintenance, and some men just feel it. People whistled. Evan turned toward the stairs. As he pushed the bar, I heard a faint beep like a recording app starting or stopping. He told the host thanks for the invite and said to enjoy the night. I said he always enjoyed quiet places more than people. Marco squeezed my side and said I was on fire. I held the glass up. A burst of light went off as Cassie shot the photo. The hook landed as a camera flash popped steady and bright, and a bystander said the clip was already in 2 chats. The family restaurant felt loud in a careful way, like everyone tried to cheer over a worry. Ruth had reserved the long table near the windows. She greeted me with a smile that did not travel to her eyes and asked if I wanted lemon water. I said I was fine and sat between Mina and a cousin who already had her phone face down. Evan sat across from me and said he would handle the bill for Noah's meal. I said I could cover fries and nuggets. Ruth asked if we preferred the kids' menu or to share plates. I said Noah liked choices. Evan said Noah liked simple. The menus felt heavy for paper. Cassie slid in late and said the party video had gone everywhere. I said it was flattering when the internet cared. Evan said he would prefer that the internet did not care about Noah's parents. I said our friends were adults and could tell jokes from truth. Mina kicked my ankle under the table and asked if we could talk about travel plans instead. I said I would love to plan a beach weekend soon. Ruth said a quiet weekend might be better first. I said I was not a patient. The server arrived and asked about drinks. I ordered something sweet and said a little fun would lighten the mood. Evan asked for water. Cassie asked for the same as me and whispered that I should lean into the bit. I smiled because attention kept me warm. The cousin across from me asked how Evan liked the rooftop bar. He said it was nice to see friends. I said he had left early like always. He said early mornings needed rest. I said some people rest too much. Noah arrived from the restroom in a paper crown and asked where he should sit. Ruth lifted him next to Evan and fixed the crown gently. Noah asked if Uncle Marco would come today. The table paused like a button had been pressed. I said Marco was busy with the gym. Noah said Marco had hugged me more than Daddy at the party. He said it like he was naming colors on a page. I laughed and said Marco was only a silly friend who liked jokes. Evan reached for Noah's water and said we would talk about grown-up choices later. I said there was nothing to talk about. Ruth asked if we could keep our voices low, because Noah heard everything right now. I said no one was yelling. Evan said quiet could still cut. I said that sounded poetic. Cassie glanced at her screen and looked away quickly. Mina asked Ruth about a recipe to break the line of sight across the table. Ruth described the steps slowly, as if cooking could fix tone. When the food came, Noah pushed fries into tiny roads and asked why Daddy had slept on the couch. He asked it with a small tilt of the head, like a puzzle he could solve. The table went still again. I said Daddy had worked late and needed more space to stretch. Evan said it was important for homes to feel kind. I said homes should feel free. Ruth folded her napkin and asked if we wanted to try a reset this week. I said resets were for people who had broken things. Evan said we were here to make sure nothing broke further. I said nothing had broken at all. After lunch, we walked to the park. The wind tugged at Noah's crown until he gave it to Ruth and ran for the swings. I followed, still talking to Mina about the beach weekend. Mina said she loved me, but did not want to be in the middle. I said no one put her anywhere. She just stood there. Evan pushed Noah gently and counted the swings softly. Ruth watched the motion and asked if Noah had been sleeping enough. I said he slept fine. Evan said he had woken twice and asked questions. I said children always asked questions. That was not new. At the bench, Ruth asked if I had watched the party video back with Noah in mind. I said jokes tested strength and could even make us better. She said a child needed faith, not tests. I said mothers wanted control. She said grandmothers wanted safety. I looked at my phone to show that I had other worlds. Marco had sent a photo from the gym of a new cable machine. I sent a simple thumbs up and felt smarter than everyone for keeping options open. Noah dragged his shoes on the ground to slow the swing and asked if Daddy was sad because of me. He asked it with a soft voice that somehow traveled farther than any shout. The question hit like a slap I did not want to show I felt. I said Daddy was only tired and loved us. Evan said he loved us very much and that he wanted us to stay gentle. I said we were gentle already. Ruth looked at Evan, then at me, and then at Noah, as if weighing glass in her hands. We walked back toward the car. At home later, I noticed 3 binders on the shelf labeled Home, Auto, and Bank, neat as if they had always been that way. A sticky note on the fridge read, "Bring forms in tidy letters I did not recognize as mine." The guest bed looked slightly disturbed, like someone had smoothed it after sitting awake. I told myself those things meant he had finally decided to get organized, which was good for all of us. I told Mina by text that Ruth had started a lecture. Mina replied that she did not want to take sides and would be off her phone tonight. Noah curled on the couch with a cartoon, and I stepped onto the balcony to message Marco that we should talk soon. Inside, Evan sat on the far chair and put on his headphones. He lowered his voice for a call and spoke slowly, like he wanted every word to land in a row. I decided he was trying to scare me with seriousness. I chose not to be scared. The night pressed quiet against the glass. The hook hit right then. Noah asked the hard question in the park, and now, at home, I watched Evan keep his headphones on for a serious call as the room held its breath. The supermarket felt too bright, like the lights judged me. I rolled the cart past the magazine rack and checked my phone. Cassie's group chat pinged with the party clip again. She said the audio was clear this time. I typed that people needed to relax. A woman from our building stood behind me with milk and watched my screen. I turned the phone face down and asked the cashier for gum. He asked if I wanted a bag. I said no and smiled like I had not heard the whisper about the video. The screen flashed more hearts, then a laughing sticker with Marco's name. I packed groceries fast at home and left the receipt on the counter like proof of goodness. Ruth had left a bag of Noah's favorite cereal by the door, with a note that said, "Hugs, no lecture." I told myself she finally understood. Evan came in from a hardware store run and asked if I found everything. I said yes and asked why he needed more folders. He said home things needed order. I said order killed joy. He asked if the car needed gas. I said it did not. He placed a small key on the hook that I did not recognize and said it was for the roof box we never used. I said we did not need a roof box for the city. On the balcony, I took a sunset photo and posted a caption about motivation with a small dumbbell emoji. Marco sent a message that said he could swing by if I wanted a night chat. I said maybe, then said not yet, then added a wink. He replied with a flex photo I minimized fast when Evan stepped into the doorway. He asked if I wanted tea. I said I was full. He said he would help Noah with math. I said Noah did not need a full lesson every night. He said routines made kids feel safe. I said routines made adults boring. Later, in the hallway, I heard Evan take a call with a voice I did not know. He spoke low and clear and asked for available times. I walked by the study and saw his laptop on the desk with a spreadsheet open. There were columns with simple initials and dates, like a habit tracker. I said that looked obsessive. He pressed one key and the window minimized. He asked if I needed the desk. I said I did not. A small cloud icon glowed and said, "File uploaded successfully" in the corner before he closed the lid. I put on lip balm, and told myself I would drop by Marco's if the night stayed dull. In the parking garage, I went down to get a charger from the glove box. Our car faced the street, angled like a quick exit. I said Evan had parked weird. He said he parked for an easier morning. Footsteps paused near a pillar. He ended a call and asked if I was okay down there. I said yes and asked why he was whispering. He said the reception was poor and he did not want to wake Noah. I said he could stop pretending everything was about Noah. At the community center craft night, tables of parents helped kids glue paper stars to a galaxy board. Noah pressed a blue star too hard and asked if he had ruined it. I told him he did great. Evan showed him how to lift the corner and said mistakes could be part of the picture. I drifted to the snack table with Cassie. She asked if I saw the newest comments. I said the world loved a good story. She said the world loved a mess more. I said I could handle heat. Kellen texted that HR had noticed my feed and asked for a calmer week. I typed that he was acting like a hall monitor. He replied with a thumbs up and said we would talk. Ruth sent a message asking if Noah could sleep at her place Saturday. I typed that we had plans. She said she wanted quiet time. I did not answer. Mina wrote that she was tired of drama and would be offline for a while. I sent an eye-roll emoji and told myself everyone was sensitive. Back home, the wall planner showed a date circled in red with no label. I laughed and drew a bigger circle around my birthday. Evan washed a pan and said he would do school drop-off tomorrow. I said I already promised it to Marco and me as a treat, then pretended it was a joke. Evan dried the pan and said nothing. The silence pressed like a closed door. I stepped into the bedroom and found a single tote bag near the closet with Noah's spare sweatshirt and earplugs. I told myself it meant Evan was finally planning ahead, like I always asked. My phone buzzed with a message preview from a contact saved under a single emoji. Before I could read it, the preview disappeared as if deleted. I opened the thread and saw nothing. I told myself it was a glitch. I posted one more balcony photo and added a line about choosing spark over rules. A neighbor liked it and then removed the like. The sky went from pink to flat grey. Evan came to the doorway and asked if we could talk. I said I was busy getting ready for a girls' night that might include Marco. He nodded and said he would not argue. I said he never argued when it mattered. He looked at the wall planner, then at Noah's backpack, then at me. He said he hoped I would keep my post kind. I said kindness did not get engagement. He watched me a long moment, as if he wanted to memorize the room. He picked up his phone and slid it into his pocket. He said he would handle this properly. The line landed soft and even. I laughed and said he sounded like a manual. He did not rise to it. He checked Noah's homework log, placed the pen straight, and turned off the kitchen light. The hallway felt long. I texted Marco that Evan had finally blinked and felt a small thrill I refused to name. The office tower lobby felt colder than usual. Mr. Ortiz nodded from the desk, and Kellen watched from the mezzanine. A woman in a neat jacket stepped forward and asked my name. I said it, expecting a delivery. She said she was here to serve documents. She placed a packet in my hands and stated effect dates. The top page named a petition for divorce with temporary financial and possession orders, plus an interim parenting schedule for Noah until hearing. My name looked heavy on the page. I said there must be a mistake. She said service was complete and noted the time. People slowed near the elevator but pretended to check their phones. Kellen asked if I needed to sit. I said I had a meeting. My own phone buzzed with an email from Evan. He wrote that he would follow the temporary orders and handle pickups per the schedule this week. I tried to swallow and could not feel my throat. Mr. Ortiz held up Noah's lunchbox and said it had been left in the car. Evan came through the glass, handed the lunchbox to the desk, and nodded once without meeting my eyes. The elevator bell chimed, and everyone stepped aside. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next story. Write in the comments from which city you are watching.